Yo, what is up guys? Chase Revelo here, and in this video, I'm pumped to be at you guys today. We're gonna be breaking down a doubles video, Stanford versus Miami. Let's get straight into it. Let's go. In doubles, down the middle solves the riddle. If you don't know where to go, utilize the serve to the body. And let's continue. Notice how he went middle there. If you're new to doubles, one of the goals that you and your teammate should have is very simple. Get both players to go into net. That should be one of your strategies that you follow, is try to find yourself with both of you guys on top of the net. Let's continue. High formation. He went middle. He went middle again. He went middle again. In doubles, you can play big aggressive shots down the middle. It will also cause confusion with your opponents. Good shot to the body there. All right, let's watch this point again. One thing in doubles to set as a standard for yourself, kind of an objective goal that you can have for yourself. Very simple. When you're returning early in the match, make sure as a returner, you're not too predictable with just going cross court, trying to keep it away from the net player. At a higher level, you actually want to show your opponents that you're capable and you're willing to rip the ball down the line. So early in the match, you don't have to take crazy risk and, slap the ball down the line on every return, but strategically showcase a few of those early on. Even if you miss the ball, it's going to keep your opponents honest, and it's going to keep them from kind of overcommitting to poaching and being kind of too predictable there. So early in your match, set a goal to do 1 or 2 returns where you go big down the line early in the match to set the tone and let them know that I'm not just going to be going middle and cross on all these returns. I'm going to be aggressive, and I'm willing to take risk, and I'm willing to go line. That's how you can keep your opponents honest and make sure that, when you're starting the match, they're not going to be kind of over cheating to poach. All right, let's continue. Notice this guy over here, he's doing adjustment steps. So right as his partner serves the ball, he's firing the feet so he's ready to split and react. He's keeping his feet active, so no matter where his opponent goes, whether they try to pass him line, whether they go back cross, he's active and he has energy in his step to push off one side or the other and react. It's all about reaction time. It's all about staying ready. So the best players in doubles will have the best footwork at the net as well. I formation. Good. So look, the reason why this guy missed that shot has nothing to do with his ability to strike the ball. It's very simple. Look at his preparation after the serve. After the serve, you have to keep your feet active and expect the ball to come back. Don't assume your opponent's going to hit a bad shot. Assume your opponent is going to hit an amazing shot. And then when they maybe don't hit such a great ball, that should surprise you. And you're like, great, let me take advantage of this opportunity. But look, he serves, and instead of trying to like be active here, he's kind of flat-footed. He does a very minimal, I wouldn't even call that a split step. It's a very minimal preparation there. What he should have done is he should have served and then start actively bouncing his feet, getting ready for the next ball. His opponent took time away and hit a solid return back quick. And number two is he should have hit topspin there because that ball came with a lot of force. So in general, unless you're doing really great footwork preparation, it's going to be pretty difficult to answer that with a slice. Unless you get really low, you give yourself a little bit more space and give yourself more time. All right. So if you're facing a more difficult shot to your backhand side, if possible, keep two hands on the ball, on the racket. Keep two hands on the racket. All right, let's go. Notice how they played two back. So, notice here. Notice, Stanford is serving. Now, Miami, they're doing two back. This is doubles. Well, why are they doing two back? Shouldn't they come to net? Shouldn't they be at the net? True. However, at a high level, when you're playing servers who can generate a lot of power, a lot of force, this is top one, so they're going to have good serves. What that means is if he executes a good serve, this returner might give a good opportunity for the net player here to do damage on the poach. So the reason why this guy's back and they're playing two back is for the return so that, like, look, if this guy over here on the Miami team, if he was at the net and this guy returns the ball, like not a great return, this net player will be able to literally just rip it at the guy's feet on the volley, boom, and this guy's got no chance. As opposed to this guy returns, right? Even if this guy does a good poach, it'll bounce and this guy will have a chance to return the ball. Now, let's say he hits a serve, right? But it's not great. And the returner is able to rip it back deep to the server, back to his feet, away from the net player. Then it's this guy's responsibility to then come into net. So what you'll usually see is, depending on the execution of the return, this player should be charging into net after a good return there. So that's kind of some of the basic foundations of why the two back makes sense, especially at a higher level with good servers. And that's kind of relative to your level, right? If someone hits a good serve that causes you to not be able to hit good consistent returns, that's when you can start to utilize the two back returning in doubles. The key is, though, make sure you don't get caught just staying back the whole rally. Notice how he's starting to come in. He's starting to come in there. even though he missed that, it's a good idea to find a forehand on second serves. If you look at the best D1 players, the top D1 players, most of them on second serves are going to have a rule, I want to find my forehand. Unless they hit an amazing kick serve to my backhand where I literally have to hit a backhand, I'm going to find the forehand. I'm going to find my forehand, which in general is going to be your better shot. Even if you look at some of the top guys like Novak Djokovic, it's crazy because if he gets kind of a ball like floating or whatever, he's still going to find his forehand. So if Djokovic, the guy with the best backhand in history, wants to find his forehand, that should be telling, right? That should be very telling for you that maybe I should try to incorporate that as well, even if your backhand is good, right? Find the forehand, especially on second serve returns. So we hit a solid return. They're both coming into net. And now look at this space in the court. Look at this distance. So they hit the ball out wide here. He's got to move. Now look, they spread the court. Now there's all this gap. There's all this space here in the middle. So when he hits it to the net player does a good job of taking advantage of that and putting the ball away down the middle. So see, he's here. He could go to the net player's feet. He could go back here, but what he did was he split them right between them. You can incorporate that too. Look at his shoulder, elbow angle on his serve, and look at how when he's right about to push from the ground to go up on his serve and generate that force up from his legs, notice how his hand and his wrist are stacked above his elbow. It's a very common checkpoint that basically every single top server will have. Good open stance there. So look here, they can stay back, but if you see yourself doing damage to your opponent in doubles, especially them on the run where there's a lot of time, right, where you guys can kind of do something, if you're both at the baseline, someone should come in. You should try to find yourself coming into net. Because look, I mean, he hit a shot there, missed it a little bit long, but even if he were to make that, you want to give yourself the opportunity as the doubles player to be at the net there. So one thing they could have done is actually come into net so that in case that guy made that shot, they would be able to put it away. He just happened to miss it though. I formation, serve body. That's not a bad target though, going middle there. That's just an execution error. Notice how he went middle there. Wow, that's a really good poach. So look, notice. Rips it middle, rips it low. He hits a ball that the volleyer makes contact below the net. So this is a textbook opportunity where this guy doesn't really have many options, right? Like what is he going to do? Very difficult to hit a lob off this shot. He's probably just going to try to block it back to the baseliner to keep it away from the net player. So if you're the net player, your job is read it, anticipate it, and be ready to poach here and be aggressive. Let's see what he does. He floats it. He's already moving. He's already moving. Boom. Boom. Poaching. You got to poach more. The teams that poach the most, the teams that spend the most time up at the net, they're usually going to win. And they're usually going to have control. Whether they win or lose, they're going to be in control there. Good, coming into net here. It's a good idea. Yeah, so there, it's like if you're starting to string together a few return errors, very simple. Return middle. If you're missing these balls, rip the ball big middle. Think about it. Even if your ball might be going a little bit long, a little bit out, if you generate a lot of speed, it's going to give the net player an opportunity to maybe try to put a racket on it. And maybe they make a mistake. So at least you give yourself that opportunity. Not a bad decision to go cross there. That's more of an execution error. But if, let's say, like you're in this position and let's say you miss a few returns, right? Dial it back. Go big middle and keep it low on the return there. One thing to apply also on returns. When you're blocking returns from really big, fast first serves, don't overdo it with the height on returns. When you're blocking the returns, blocking in the nature of it, you're going to hit it a little bit more flat. So if you aim high over the net, you're going to have a tendency to miss it long. Unless you're hitting a lot of spin, but that's going to be floating. It's going to be easy for the net player to get. So when you're blocking these returns, especially at this level, like these guys don't need to play the ball 10 feet over the net, right? These guys are good enough. They can block it. They can hit it big. I would say about lower than 4 feet max. They could literally keep the ball like in a window between like 1 feet and 3 feet over the net on these returns, blocking back deep, middle, or cross. But the lesson there is when you're blocking the return and you're hitting it flatter, you don't have to hit it with so much height. Lower the height on your returns, especially when you're blocking it, hitting it big back. It's a good serve. Serve to the body. Good adjustment steps there. Nice. So look, he serves. Look, he lands. And look at how he gets space back. Look at how he's already behind the baseline. Right? Remember the point earlier where I was talking about the adjustment step footwork. I believe it was this guy beforehand when he was serving. This guy over here does a great job after he serves. He plants. And then he's already working on his spacing. He's already trying to get some more time there. And he was even on his back foot, but he gave himself a chance there. Good. So that's due to his great footwork and adjustment steps there. That's the main thing that he did well on that point. So look, there's nothing necessarily wrong with going close stance here, but in general, when you get a neutral ball or a little bit defensive ball or you're on the run a little bit, it's going to be a lot easier to execute a consistent ball by just setting up in the open stance. You're going to be a little bit more versatile with your options there. So let's take a look. Yeah. Look, he can make that, but I would recommend a little bit more adjustment steps and pop out into a semi-open or open stance there, especially when you're on the run, on the move on the backhand side. All right, it's a very common thing. I see a lot of errors from players, even at a really high level, when they're on the run, on the backhand, trying to hit it close stance, when it's going to be easier for you to set up with your hips in the right position to fire your hips and generate force from the ground and have stability on your shot and be balanced. So it's not a wrong decision to go close stance there, but I think a better option would be pop out in the open stance. Oh, that's a great poach. Oh, even though he missed that, that was a good move. Look, look, look. He's already moving. Look, he's pushing off the left leg. He's already moving before the guy's hitting. He's anticipating that this guy's going to go cross again. Look, he's already moving. He's moving before the guy even hit the ball. If you want to poach better, start moving earlier before the guy even hits the ball. You can see his opponent is focused on striking the ball. So the minute his gaze goes from looking forward to focusing on the ball, that's when you can kind of start moving, because he's already committing to the shot. So the minute you can see he's starting his stroke, boom, start moving. Start moving early. And when you're learning to poach and trying to get better at it, it's way better for your development to kind of poach too much, and then you can try to dial it back and figure out, wait, when is the right time to poach? When is the wrong time to poach? But at the beginning, the main thing is you just got to do it. You just got to do it more. You got to poach more. You got to put yourself in those situations, and then you're going to learn, wait, when I hit this ball, this was a good opportunity to poach. So at this level, these guys are high level, but if you're more a beginner, you're learning, you're trying to figure out when to poach, when not to poach, like the first step is just make a commitment to yourself to poach way more, way too much almost. That would be a good thing for coaches to see, that you're developing, that you're being aggressive, right? And that's something college coaches look for. They don't want any doubles players who are just grinding from the baseline all the time or being passive at the net, right? When you're at the net playing doubles and your partner is at the baseline, it's your responsibility to end the point. Your partner at the baseline, it's not his responsibility to end the point. His job is to keep it away from the net player. And look, he can still pull the trigger sometimes, but in general, it's the net player's responsibility to end the point. So if you're playing with your partner and they're just rallying cross court, don't let that ball go back. Don't let your partner hit like 3, 4, 5 forehands cross court. After like 2 or 3 balls, alarms got to be going off in your head like, all right, I got to poach. I got to do something here, right? I got to be active, right? So poach more, and let's continue. Nice, good return middle. Now, let's talk about something in terms of setting up and should you play. So look, here you have a righty and you have a lefty. Notice how they take this side where their forehands are going to be in the middle. Why are they doing that? The Bryan Brothers also do that. The Bryan Brothers, the best doubles team, one of the best doubles teams of all time, what do? They set up their points where they both have their forehand in the middle. That should tell you a lot about the structure of these points and that there's going to be a lot of stuff happening in the middle, right? So the best doubles players, right? This is obviously a one righty, one lefty. But let's say you're a righty and you play with a lefty partner. You should set up where you guys are having your forehand in the middle in general. It's going to help you guys a lot more. It's a good shot. Nice. Notice, second serve, kick serve, body, he finds the forehand. He finds the forehand and pulls the trigger. So look here, he goes kick serve, body, boom. Yeah, so if you're on Miami's side here and you're serving and it's deuce, you really want to make sure you get that ball to his backhand, right? Or at least this guy's got to do the best footwork in history to find his forehand. And if he can do that, that's too good, right? Give him credit. But going body there, I get it. It's a little bit more conservative with your target. But at this level, D1 level, at this level, you're playing for Stanford, you're playing for Miami, you got to be able to, at will, hit that kick serve out wide, breaking the sideline within the service box. All right? It's going to help you open up the court, and it's going to make it way harder for your opponent to find that forehand. All right? Cool. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Had a lot of fun making this one. And if you got any value out of this, like the video, comment, subscribe, and subscribe again, tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your family, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.